Imagine standing in the middle of a vast desert. The sun is blazing overhead. The temperature is above 45 degrees Celsius. As far as your eyes can see, there's nothing but endless sand stretching to the horizon. No skyscrapers, no luxury hotels, no shopping malls, no supercars, no Burj Khalifa, just sand. Now imagine that, in less than a lifetime, this same place transforms into one of the most recognized cities on Earth, a city visited by millions every year, home to the world's tallest building, one of the busiest international airports, man-made islands visible from space, indoor ski slopes in the middle of the desert, and businesses from nearly every country on the planet. It almost sounds impossible. But this isn't a movie. It's the story of Dubai. Today, when most people think of Dubai, they picture luxury cars, futuristic buildings, millionaire lifestyles, and breathtaking architecture. Social media has turned Dubai into a symbol of wealth and ambition. But here's something that surprises many people. Dubai wasn't always rich. In fact, just a few generations ago, life here was incredibly difficult. There was no modern skyline, no air-conditioned malls, and certainly no record-breaking skyscrapers. Even more surprising, the biggest reason behind Dubai's success wasn't oil. Yes, oil played an important role, but it wasn't the magic solution many people believe it was. If oil alone could create a city like Dubai, then every oil-rich country would look exactly the same. So what did Dubai do differently? How did a small fishing village, surrounded by one of the harshest climates on Earth, become one of the world's greatest business and tourism hubs? To answer that question, we have to travel back more than 100 years, to a time when Dubai looked nothing like it does today. Long before tourists arrived with cameras and luxury shopping bags, Dubai was a tiny settlement on the coast of the Arabian Gulf. Life was simple. Families lived in houses built from coral stones, mud, palm leaves, and wood. There were no highways connecting cities, no modern hospitals, and almost no tall buildings. Instead of luxury cars, people traveled on camels or wooden boats. Instead of skyscrapers, the skyline was filled with traditional wind towers designed to cool homes naturally in the scorching desert heat. Fresh water was scarce. Farming was nearly impossible because of the dry climate. Every single day was a struggle against nature. So how did people survive? The answer lay in the sea. For centuries, the waters of the Arabian Gulf became the lifeline of Dubai's people. Fishing provided food for families, but another industry became even more important: pearl diving. Today, pearls can be manufactured in laboratories or grown on farms. But centuries ago, natural pearls were among the world's most valuable treasures. Kings, queens, and wealthy merchants across Europe, India, Persia, and the Ottoman Empire paid enormous amounts of money for high-quality pearls. And the waters around Dubai produced some of the finest natural pearls in the world. Every summer, hundreds of wooden boats sailed into the Gulf carrying teams of pearl divers. The work was unbelievably dangerous. Without oxygen tanks or modern diving equipment, divers tied a small stone to their feet to sink rapidly into the deep water. Holding only a nose clip and a woven basket, they dived as deep as 20 meters, searching the ocean floor for oysters. They had barely a minute before they needed to return to the surface. Then, they repeated the process. Again and again, sometimes hundreds of times in a single day. They faced exhaustion, powerful currents, sharks, jellyfish, and the constant risk of drowning. And after opening dozens, sometimes hundreds of oysters, many divers found nothing at all. Imagine risking your life every day without knowing whether you'll earn enough to feed your family. That was the reality for thousands of people living in Dubai, but pearls alone didn't shape the city's future. Dubai had another advantage: its location. If you look at a world map, Dubai sits almost perfectly between Europe, Asia, and Africa. Long before airplanes existed, merchants traveling between these regions needed ports where they could stop, trade, restock supplies, and continue their journey. Dubai became one of those important trading points. Wood, spices, silk, dates, textiles, perfumes, tea, coffee, and precious metals passed through its markets. Merchants from India, Persia, East Africa, and neighboring Arab regions regularly visited the town. Trade slowly brought wealth, but it also brought something even more valuable: connections. People from different cultures met here, exchanged ideas, built relationships, and created business opportunities. Even at this early stage, Dubai was beginning to develop something that would later define its identity: being open to the world. One of the most important turning points came in 1894. The ruler of Dubai made a bold decision. He announced that foreign merchants could settle in Dubai and conduct business with extremely favorable trading conditions. At a time when many regions imposed heavy taxes and restrictions, Dubai chose the opposite approach. Welcome traders, encourage investment, make business easier. That decision attracted merchants from across the region, especially from Persia and India. Small shops became larger markets. The harbor became busier. Trade increased. Although nobody knew it at the time, this philosophy of making business easy would eventually become one of Dubai's greatest strengths. But just as things seemed to be improving, disaster struck. During the late 1920s and early 1930s, the global economy entered the Great Depression. Demand for luxury goods collapsed. Natural pearls, once Dubai's biggest source of income, suddenly lost much of their value. As if that wasn't enough, Japanese entrepreneurs perfected cultured pearls, producing beautiful pearls at a fraction of the cost. Overnight, the global pearl market changed forever. Dubai's economy suffered tremendously. Many families lost their primary source of income. Businesses struggled. Life became even harder. For a while, it seemed as though Dubai's dreams of prosperity had come to an end. If you had visited Dubai during those years, you probably would never have guessed that one day this quiet coastal town would compete with cities like London, Singapore, or New York. The future looked uncertain. Resources were limited, money was scarce, and opportunities seemed to be disappearing. Then, in the middle of the 20th century, something happened beneath the desert sands that would change everything. In 1966, oil was discovered in Dubai. News of the discovery spread quickly. For many people, this was the moment Dubai became rich. But here's where the story becomes truly fascinating. Because discovering oil wasn't the most important decision Dubai ever made. What happened after the discovery was, around the world, history has shown us countless examples of countries blessed with valuable natural resources that remained poor, unstable, or overly dependent on them. Having oil doesn't automatically create prosperity. It simply gives you an opportunity. What truly matters is how that opportunity is used. Dubai's leaders understood something that many others didn't. Oil would not last forever. One day, the wells would begin to run dry. And when that day arrived, the city would need another way to survive. So instead of asking, how can we spend this oil money, they asked a far more important question. How can we use today's wealth to build a city that will continue to thrive long after the oil is gone? That single question would shape every major decision Dubai made over the next several decades. And the man who would lead that extraordinary transformation had a vision so ambitious that many people believed it was impossible. The man who believed in that impossible vision was Sheikh Rashid bin Zayed Al Maktoum. When oil was discovered in Dubai, many people assumed the city's future was secure. After all, oil had already transformed several countries in the Middle East into wealthy nations. But Sheikh Rashid saw something others didn't. He understood a simple truth that would eventually define Dubai's future. Oil is valuable, but it is temporary. No matter how large the reserves are, one day they begin to run out. And if an entire economy depends on just one resource, its future is always uncertain. Instead of asking how much money oil could make today, he asked something much bigger. What will Dubai become after the oil is gone? That question changed everything. Rather than spending oil wealth on luxury alone, Dubai began investing heavily in infrastructure. Roads connected communities that had once been separated by vast stretches of desert. Modern schools and hospitals improved everyday life. Electricity, clean water, and communication networks expanded rapidly. But perhaps Sheikh Rashid's boldest decision was one that many people thought made absolutely no sense. He wanted to build one of the world's largest ports. There was just one problem. Dubai wasn't one of the world's largest trading cities. Critics questioned why such an enormous investment was necessary. Some even believed it would become an expensive mistake. Yet Sheikh Rashid believed something remarkable. He didn't wait for businesses to arrive before building the infrastructure. He built the infrastructure first, believing businesses would follow. That philosophy became one of Dubai's greatest strengths. Soon, Jebel Ali Port began taking shape. It would later become one of the busiest and most important ports in the world, connecting Asia, Europe, and Africa through global shipping routes. Today, millions of containers pass through Dubai every year, making it one of the world's largest logistics hubs. But building ports alone wasn't enough. Dubai also needed to attract international companies. So the government introduced something that was revolutionary for the region. They created free zones. Businesses operating in these areas could enjoy benefits like full foreign ownership, simplified regulations, and attractive tax policies. For international companies looking to expand into the Middle East, Africa, or South Asia, Dubai suddenly became one of the easiest places in the world to set up operations. Global banks arrived. Technology companies followed. Media organizations established regional headquarters. Manufacturers, logistics firms, airlines, and startups all saw opportunity. Dubai wasn't trying to compete by having the most oil. It was competing by becoming the easiest place to do business. Another milestone came in 1985 with the launch of Emirates Airline. At the time, few people imagined a relatively small city could create one of the world's leading airlines. But Dubai's location once again became its greatest advantage. Almost 2/3 of the world's population lives within an 8-hour flight of Dubai. Instead of seeing geography as a coincidence, Dubai turned it into a business strategy. Flights connecting Europe, Asia, Africa, and Australia increasingly stopped in Dubai, bringing millions of travelers through the city every year. Many of those passengers didn't just change planes. They stayed. They shopped. They invested. They explored. The city had quietly transformed itself into one of the world's most connected gateways. And once businesses and travelers started arriving, Dubai asked another ambitious question. If people are already coming here, why not give them reasons to stay longer? That single idea would launch one of the greatest tourism transformations the modern world has ever seen. Dubai had already become a global business hub, but its leaders knew that business travelers alone couldn't build the future they envisioned. If Dubai wanted to become a truly global city, it needed something even more powerful. It needed the world to want to visit. There was one obvious challenge. Unlike countries blessed with snow-capped mountains, ancient castles, or tropical rainforests, Dubai had very few natural tourist attractions. So instead of relying on nature, Dubai decided to create attractions that had never existed before. It was a bold strategy. If the world couldn't come to Dubai for natural wonders, then Dubai would build wonders of its own. And that's exactly what happened. One of the most ambitious projects was the Palm Jumeirah. Imagine looking at the coastline and deciding that it simply wasn't long enough. Most cities would accept that limitation. Dubai didn't. Instead, engineers poured millions of tons of rock and sand into the Arabian Gulf, creating an entirely new island shaped like a giant palm tree. The project wasn't just an engineering achievement. It created kilometers of new beachfront property, luxury hotels, private villas, and attractions that drew visitors from around the world. Soon after came another record-breaking project, the Burj Khalifa. Standing over 828 meters tall, it became the tallest building ever constructed by humans. For many cities, building the world's tallest skyscraper would have been enough. But for Dubai, it became something much bigger than a building. It became a symbol, a statement that the city was willing to dream bigger than anyone else. Then came the Dubai Mall, one of the largest shopping and entertainment destinations in the world. This wasn't designed to be just another place to buy clothes. Visitors could watch sharks in a massive aquarium, skate on an Olympic-sized ice rink, explore hundreds of restaurants, and spend an entire day without ever feeling bored. Even the desert itself became an attraction. Luxury desert safaris, dune bashing, camel rides, cultural experiences, and breathtaking sunsets transformed what was once considered a harsh environment into one of Dubai's biggest tourism assets. Year after year, another ambitious project appeared. The Burj Al Arab, the Dubai Fountain, the Museum of the Future, the Dubai Metro. Each project added another reason for people to visit. Gradually, Dubai stopped being known only for oil. It became known for innovation. Today, millions of tourists arrive every year from every corner of the globe. Some come for business, some come for shopping, some come for luxury. Others simply come to witness what many once believed was impossible. But despite all its success, Dubai's journey hasn't been without challenges. Living in the desert still comes with significant limitations. Fresh water remains scarce. Much of the city's drinking water comes from desalination plants that convert seawater into fresh water, a process that requires enormous amounts of energy. Because very little food can be grown locally, Dubai imports much of what appears on supermarket shelves and restaurant menus. The extreme summer heat also presents challenges, with temperatures often climbing above 45 degrees Celsius. And like many rapidly growing cities, Dubai has experienced periods of economic slowdown, particularly in its real estate market. These challenges serve as an important reminder. Dubai's story isn't one of perfection. It's one of constant adaptation. Whenever a new obstacle appeared, the city searched for another opportunity. Today, Dubai is investing heavily in artificial intelligence, renewable energy, smart city technology, advanced transportation, and the digital economy. Projects that once sounded like science fiction are now becoming reality. The goal is no longer just to be a successful city. It's to remain relevant for decades to come. And perhaps that's the biggest lesson Dubai offers the world. People often say that Dubai became rich because of oil. But the numbers tell a different story. Today, oil contributes only a small portion of Dubai's economy. The city earns far more from tourism, aviation, trade, logistics, finance, real estate, and technology. Oil may have provided the starting point, but vision built everything that followed. The leaders of Dubai understood something that applies not only to countries, but also to businesses and even individuals. Temporary success means very little if you don't prepare for the future. Instead of spending all of today's wealth, they invested in tomorrow. Instead of waiting for opportunities, they created them. Instead of accepting limitations, they challenged them. That's why when people look at Dubai today, they don't just see skyscrapers, they see decades of planning, bold decisions, calculated risks, and an unwavering belief that impossible ideas can become reality. From a small fishing village on the edge of the Arabian Gulf to one of the world's most recognized cities, Dubai's transformation is one of the greatest development stories of the modern era. And perhaps the most remarkable part of that story is this. Dubai wasn't built overnight. It was built by people who were willing to think decades ahead. So the next time you see the glittering skyline of Dubai, remember, behind every tower, every artificial island, and every world record lies a simple idea that changed everything. The future doesn't simply happen. It is built. If you enjoyed this story and want to explore more fascinating histories, country transformations, business case studies, and the events shaping our world, make sure to subscribe to HistoryFactsVerse. Because every nation, every innovation, and every turning point in history has a story worth discovering. Until next time.